Zombie apocalypse.
Alright, what is going on guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got for you guys is another gaming video. And now it's been a while since I've made one of these, and also don't worry if you guys don't care too much for the gaming side of things, because my Supergirl season overview and finale review will be out next week around Friday-ish, so definitely be on the lookout for that a few days after the finale has aired. But over the last week or so, we have had the most highly anticipated gaming event of the year take place in the form of the E3 event for 2018, where a whole bunch of new games were revealed, showcased, or announced. Now, some of these we already knew about going into the event, while others were a complete surprise. And while E3 is still happening at the time of this recording, all of the major announcements are finished for the event. So what I want to do with this video is just give you guys a list of some of the games that I am the most excited for after seeing them at E3. So without any further ado guys, let's get into my list in no particular order of the top games that I am most excited for after seeing them at E3 2018. Swinging into that first spot here on my list is Spider-Man for PS4, and this is something that we've known about for a couple of years now, and we got our first real gameplay last year at E3, and this year it is finally coming out in the fall, and I'm just super excited for this game about my favorite Marvel hero from one of my favorite game developers, and that being Insomniac Games. And speaking of Insomniac, I know they aren't involved with the remaster, but Spyro Remastered Trilogy is another one of those games that I am super excited for, because there's just sort of a lot of nostalgia for me going back on that series back to the old PS1, PS2 days, so I'm definitely very excited for that as well. But back to Spider-Man, we got some new gameplay and it just looks absolutely amazing. The game just seems to be so fast-paced and it seems to flow very well, kind of like an Arkham game but for Spider-Man. So Spider-Man PS4 is shaping up to be one of the best games of the year, definitely my most anticipated game of the year, and I am just super excited to finally get some hands-on with this game in the fall. The next game that I am pretty excited for after E3 is the new Call of Duty game coming from Treyarch this year, that being Black Ops 4. And now I know that there's a bit of controversy with the whole Black Ops Pass and all the special editions and COD points and stuff like that, but I'm just sort of hoping that they don't make this sort of be kind of like how Black Ops 3 was with all of these supply drops and everything. I know that they're coming back and I know that's kind of unavoidable now, but I am still very excited for this game, not just because of the multiplayer, because that does look kind of like a mix of Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2, two of my favorite Call of Duty games, so that's pretty exciting. But the main thing, the main selling point for this game for me personally is all of the zombies content, especially all of the zombies content that we're going to be getting at launch. 3 zombies maps on disc, 9 Voyage of Despair and Blood of the Dead, as well as sort of a pre-order special edition bonus map called Classified, which was revealed to be sort of a re-envisioning or remaster in a sort of way of the classic map from Black Ops 1 being 5. So it is going to be set in the Pentagon, and we're going to be playing as the original crew, not the original crew that we were playing as in Black Ops 3, but the original World at War and Black Ops 1 crew. So that is definitely pretty cool, and I'm very excited to see how all of these zombie maps play out throughout the year. So while it is disappointing that the traditional campaign is being replaced by a Battle Royale mode, and there's also the fear going into this game that microtransactions could end up ruining it like it kind of did to Black Ops 3 in a way, I do still want to be very excited for this game just because of all of the zombies content coming at launch. So next up on my list is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I only recently got into the Tomb Raider series with the release of the first reboot game back in 2013, and I've loved both that game as well as Rise of the Tomb Raider that was released as the second one in the reboot trilogy. And now when I went back and played some of the old games, I did think that they were still pretty fun to play as well. And now Shadow of the Tomb Raider does look like a pretty cool combination of all of the crazy puzzles and stuff from the originals with all of the new combat and amazing visuals from the 2 other reboot games in the series. I am super excited for this game to come out, and I am definitely getting it on PC for those upgraded graphics, and I cannot wait to see what is in store in the next chapter of the Tomb Raider reboot series. I also really did like the movie as well, just throwing that out there. But for the next game here on my list, we have Battlefield 5, and we got quite a bit from this game compared to some others that were pretty much just announcements. For Battlefield 5, we got a whole bunch of gameplay, and from that gameplay, I can tell that the visuals look amazing overall, just as all Battlefield games do, and it seems like it's just going going to be a more polished version of Battlefield 1. And now some people may think that it's a bad thing, but I think that the move from the World War I to the World War II setting, as well as all of the game updates and sort of, just quality of life changes that it seems like they're going to be making to the game, it seems like it's a nice transition, kind of like a Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4 thing. So I am definitely very excited to get hands-on with this game when the beta inevitably comes out. So the next game on my list is actually a pretty interesting one for me, and that is Fallout 76. I've actually never fully played through any of the other Fallout games. I've watched gameplay and tried it out a couple of times, but just never got into it. But from the Fallout 76 trailer and everything that was said about the game, and the fact that it is very co-op focused and a lot of other people seem to be getting very excited for this game, I think I will definitely give it a try this year and play with some friends that have been wanting me to get into the Fallout series for a long time. So this game just looks like it's going to be pretty fun, so I will for sure be giving it a try, and I think I may even try to get Fallout 4 on the Steam summer sale this year to prepare for it. The next game on my list is another one that seems like it's going to be pretty awesome, and that is The Last of Us Part 2. The first one was such a huge success and is regarded as one of the best PS3 games of all time, so I am pretty sure that Part 2 will be living up to that first one. The gameplay looked really awesome, and again, another game with some amazing graphics, and it seems like this one is going to have a pretty interesting storyline as well. For sure, I will have to go back and play the first one. I have the remaster on PS4, but just haven't gotten around to playing it yet, so I will have to go back and do that, because Part 2 looks like it's going to be a pretty amazing game. Especially from the gameplay, it looks like it just flows very well, and it plays almost like it's just so cinematic throughout the entire thing, so I don't know if that's how the whole game is going to be or if that was just for the trailer, but either way, I am super hyped. Taking a quick break from the list of games I'm super excited for, one game that was a no-show and that I was pretty disappointed that we didn't get to hear anything about was the rumored Superman game coming from Rocksteady. Now, I know that there was no actual confirmation that this thing was real or that it was even in development or anything, but I just kind of got my hopes up for this game. I know a lot of people did, a lot of people were hoping that it was going to be revealed, a lot of people were expecting it to be revealed, so it is pretty disappointing that we didn't get anything from them. We have no news on whether or not there's a Superman game in development or if there's another Batman game coming or anything, and we just don't really know anything, so that's kind of disappointing, but fingers crossed they might reveal something at Comic-Con or maybe a future gaming event later on in the year. But now back to our regularly scheduled list. Next up here on that list is not per se a new game, but a DLC coming out for an existing game, and that is the Clone Wars content coming to Battlefront 2 in the fall. And this is something that everybody's been wanting ever since the release of the game back last year, some Clone Wars content. We're going to be getting Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Grievous, as well as Count Dooku coming to the game as new heroes and villains, along with some new game modes and a Geonosis map. So all of this content sounds absolutely amazing. I'm super excited for all of this Clone Wars era stuff coming to Battlefront 2. The Clone Wars era is definitely one of, if not my favorite eras of the Star Wars universe, so very excited for that to be coming in the fall. Hopefully it ends up being a pretty good DLC, and I'm just super pumped for it. So next up here on my list is another Star Wars game, and this is the Star Wars game that has been in development from the people behind Titanfall over at Respawn Entertainment, and this new Star Wars game coming in 2019 is going to be called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So from the announcement, all we got was a logo for the game as well as a short little description of what the game will entail. It is said to take place between episodes 3 and 4 and follow a young Padawan who has survived Order 66, as well as lightsabers and lightsaber combat will be playing a pretty big role within the game. So this does sound like it's going to be a pretty awesome single player Star Wars experience that I'm very excited for to see, our first kind of gameplay and stuff going forward, and I'm very excited to see this game coming out next year. Next up here on my list is another one that is very exciting even though it has no release date yet, and that is Halo Infinite. The Halo trailer was one that I wasn't expecting, but it got me, along with everyone else, super hyped for Halo again. Getting back into the Master Chief armor and hearing that classic Halo music again, it was just super exciting. The new engine looks amazing, and I'm super excited to learn more about the next Halo game. It seems like it could possibly be a next-gen game for the next Xbox whenever that comes out, which would be kind of unfortunate because because then that means this game is still a few years off, but you never know. I have been a huge Halo fan for a long time now, and it is great to see that Microsoft is still working on a game series that so many people love as much as Halo. We're almost done here. This is the second to last one here on the list, and that is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I am still a bit on the fence with Odyssey, but it is on my list because I always do get the new Assassin's Creed games, and from the trailers, this game does actually look like it's going to be pretty awesome. Odyssey is obviously using the same engine that Origins used, along with a lot of the same features like the combat system as well as the HUD seem to be pretty similar. There is a bit of an update. The game does seem like it's going to be kind of like a more polished version of Origins, and really my only problems with Origins was the fact that the combat to me was a bit clunky. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like Assassin's Creed. I know it was meant to be a bit more difficult and stuff, but to me, I just didn't really like the combat of Origins, but it does, from the gameplay, seem like they've definitely polished that combat for Odyssey a lot more. It does also seem like we're going to be getting a pretty significant graphical upgrade with Odyssey. I don't know if it's just because of the colors popping a bit more, but it definitely does seem like this game is going to look pretty amazing. Also, I am very excited about the setting of ancient Greece and stuff like that. I do kind of like the mystical, magical side of the Greek mythology and everything. I think that that's going to be a pretty awesome setting for Assassin's Creed. Definitely a lot more interesting than ancient Egypt. To me, that just was kind of boring. I thought the story of Origins was pretty boring, but it looks like Odyssey is definitely going to make up for where Origins lacked. So overall, very excited to see the next entry into the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, the final game here on my list is one of the games that I am the most excited for after E3, and it's a game that you can actually play right now, and that is Skyrim, the very special edition for the Alexa. Alexa, stop. It's funny that this is actually a real thing. When I first saw the trailer, I thought it was just a joke, but no, this is an actual skill that you can enable for your Alexa device, so it is pretty cool. Did that thing go off again? No, it didn't. But this is an actual skill that you can enable for your Alexa device to use, and it's a game that you can play, and it's kind of like a thing where it'll tell you a scenario, and you've got to say what you want to do. It'll say like, hey, there's a wolf that you got to fight. Do you want to use magic? Do you want to use a sword? Or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'll use magic on it, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun if you guys have an Alexa device, if you have an Echo, if you have a Dot or something. I definitely suggest enabling the skill and trying it out. It is actually pretty fun. And you know, try it out because why not? It's free. But other than that, guys, that is my very long list of games that I am excited for after their reveals at E3 2018. I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? Do you have a list of your own? Let me know what games you guys are most excited for after seeing them at E3 this year. I want to know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alexa, play Skyrim.
Welcome back to Skyrim Adventure.
This thing is so cool.